Thanks, Michael. Anthony, thanks for taking the time. Hope you're doing well. I'm curious. Well, that surprises me every single time. Sorry. Greg has talked about wanting more verticality this camp, and that being an area that he thinks should improve based on the first three matches. You're a guy that can provide that with your runs down the left. What has he been telling you guys about that in the first two sessions here in Austin? And what do you think it adds basically to have guys get in behind and focus a little bit more on that potentially in these next three games?
So the first few sessions have obviously been quite light. Players like myself and some of the other players in Europe are just getting in yesterday. Some today who played Sunday, so we've kind of had to keep it light as possible. Everyone's at different stages, but in terms of tactically, like you said, Greg wants us to be a bit more direct this camp. It's just about creating chances and being really aggressive and on the front foot, trying to put the other teams on the back foot so that we can put the pressure on them and we can try and convert our chances to win games.
Next will be Doug McIntyre from Fox.
Thanks, Michael. Anthony, thank you for doing this. Greg also talked about how last camp at the beginning, maybe the focus wasn't there quick enough. I'm curious what you've noticed in terms of the difference this early on this camp compared to a month ago. Thank you.
I'd say, the focus, I think the focus was there from everyone. Obviously, we were coming off the back of a very good summer, being successful in 2 tournaments, so everyone's confidence was really high. Maybe that was a factor, but everyone's focused and determined because our goal is to qualify for the World Cup. That's a massive goal. And, I think, the amount of people who made their qualifying debuts last camp, it just shows, that's an experience that you have to kind of go through to, sort of see the expectations of what it'll be like. It's all well and good as all saying, you need to realise this is going to be tough, but you have to have been through the games to realise how tough it's going to be. And now we've got a lot of players who've been through that, seeing that it's not just going to be an easy ride. So starting out, our expectations are probably a lot more consistent with each other, and we know what we need to get out of each game.
And just a reminder to Anthony's point, 16 players made their World Cup qualifying debut in the last round. Next will be Ivis Galarcep from SBI Soccer.
Anthony, you've had an interesting journey in terms of the national team and just kind of taking that kind of step up and having to have your growing pains and the tough matches and early on in your career. Obviously in September you had some great performances. How much of that is just kind of just getting comfortable, the form, and how much is is getting more familiar with the system and knowing what Greg wants? And as a follow-up, when you think back to those tough times, I can remember that Jamaica game before the Gold Cup in 2019, which was a rough moment. How much did that going through that tough period kind of make you appreciate now more that you're obviously in this great run of form that you're in?
Yeah, obviously there's been I've had some tough times personally with the team, some good times, but definitely it wasn't just a straight road of coming in and being a guaranteed starter, which pretty sure there's not many people who have a guaranteed place on our team. We've all got to work hard, and we all know that we're all going to be needed at different points for different things. Going back to the start, especially when I started working with Greg, for me, it definitely felt like it was taking a while to get used to sort of the system and the roles and responsibilities I had in this team compared to a club level and the different tactics and things. But, as games come and, you get used to playing with the players that I've been playing with for a while now, it gets a lot easier understanding what you need to do. And it felt like it really settled in last camp with that, with sort of my responsibilities on the pitch. And just being confident and trying to enjoy playing my football and playing for my country, which replicated in good performances.
Next will be Ron Blum from the Associated Press.
Hi, Anthony. When you did the somersault against Honduras after the goal, was that spontaneous? Were you thinking about that then? Did you hear a lot about it from teammates when you got back to England and friends?
Yeah, that was always, it's a celebration I've been wanting to do for a while, to be honest. But the emotions kind of took over me. It was my first goal for the national team. It was such a big moment, so it was just kind of the first thing that come to mind at the time to celebrate in a way that was something that I used to do as a kid. Obviously, I scored my first goal for Fulham just before that camp as well. Did the same celebration, and hopefully, I do many more. My teammates are all really impressed with it, so I'd like it to be seen a lot more. Hopefully.
Next will be Brian Shreda from American Soccer Now.
Thank you, Anthony. Anthony, this is the first season at the club level. You know, you're not in a relegation battle. You're now at the top of the table. And obviously, it's a change of perspective, maybe from you from a weekly basis. Yeah, how different is that for you? And also, how has that improved you overall as a player or changed you overall as a player? Does that perhaps give you a different perspective on the game coming into World Cup qualifying with a team that's expected to qualify and wins are now, realistic or wanted every single time, just about every game?
It is definitely a shift in mentality. The first couple of years of my career, I've been in teams that have been in relegation fights, and now that we're back in the Championship, the expectations on us with the squad we have is to go straight back up. So there's obviously that side of we're confident in the team we have, like the quality we have to go back up and to win games. So that's a nice feeling going into a game, feeling that everyone's confident that we can win. And it's a similar token here when we come to the States. We're expected to qualify. We're expected to be one of the better teams. At the same time, I feel like that they're the games that motivate all the other teams. All the other CONCACAF teams in qualifying with us now. They're going to be looking at games against us and thinking this is our moment to prove what a good team we are. So that just makes it so that not every game is going to be an easy game like you'd hope.
Next, we'll go to Juan Carlos Maigua.
Hi, thank you for the time. I would like to ask you about the team's viewpoint on the next couple of games. Given the results of the last few matches, is the team feeling any type of pressure to turn things around, or you're just working day by day?
Just day by day, yeah. I don't feel like there's much pressure to turn things around because I wouldn't say necessarily we had a bad start. We picked up 4 points away from home, which is obviously a great start, and then we're second in the table. But we're just trying to go one game at a time. Our next game's going to be Jamaica, so we're working right now on how to beat them, how to play well and be successful against them, and then we'll worry about the rest of the games after that.
Next will be Paul Tenorio from The Athletic.
Thanks, Michael. Anthony, I wonder, first of all, how much confidence are you bringing into this camp, considering your performances in September? And then on the other side, looking at Jamaica, when you see players like Mikel Antonio, what are the challenges you face in defending a player like that? And I wonder if you can relate to the experiences he's going through, being an English-born player playing for Jamaica now, and the transition you had and kind of getting used to integrating with the U.S. national team, and maybe the talk that's going on there about the English players that have committed to Jamaica. Thank you.
I'd say there's a lot. I personally feel very confident going into this camp. I'm sure the whole team does as well. We've got a good, young, hungry squad. The whole squad, is desperate to get out there and prove, what role they play in the team and what value they bring to the team, which is a great feeling. Going against a tough Jamaica side next up, who've got a lot of quality players, a few that I'm familiar with, played with and against, and it's definitely going to be a test. Like you mentioned, Antonio, he's a quality player. He's been really successful in the Premier League the last couple of years, and he'll be a challenge to defend. But it's ultimately going to come down to how they've set up as a team against how we set up as a team, and not just individual players. So as long as we get our setup right and our strategy to how we're going to nullify him and beat them as a team, I don't see it as an issue.
Last question for Anthony comes from Avi Creditor from SI.com.
Anthony, thanks, Michael. It's purely logistical. I know with the UK restrictions and traveling to Panama and things that have been rolled back a little bit, I was just wondering if anything had changed with your status, if you're still not going to Panama, or if that's changed and you will be going for the second game.
I genuinely don't know if all the logistical side of it's been finalised. When it comes to, obviously the UK's red list is kind of unique, and I know FIFA have been trying to work with sort of clubs and countries to try and accommodate players being able to play in red list countries. coming from England, so I don't know what the specifics of that are yet, but my focus is just going to be Jamaica, and then hopefully the logistical side of that sorted out for the next few games, but I'll see where I go from Jamaica.